It's going to be kind of informal tonight. We're just going to have discussions from the sanitation our service director, our fire chief, and police chief. They're just going to give us updates for projects in their respective departments for the year 2025, and if they've got anything that they feel want to bring up about beyond 2025. So, who wants to go first? Who's ready?
I can go first.
Okay. Chief Kinney, you're on.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I'm happy to be here, chat about the police department, some of the programs we've done last year that we started and that we've been able to finish this year. A lot of them are technology-related projects. One of which is our time system, where we do all our time sheets and our scheduling. It's called Power Time, and we were able to, believe it or not, up to a year ago, we were still doing paper time sheets where the officers would actually handwrite in their times where they're working, and the schedule was posted at times in handwriting. So we've computerized that, and along with that came Power Vetted and Power Ready. And what those two pieces of software are, they're all part of a suite. Power Vetted allows us to do our background checks through computers. So when we have candidates that apply for either dispatch or patrol, they're able to upload all their documentation, their background questionnaire, everything into this Power Vetted, to where the detective can then go through, organize it all, and do a checklist step by step, and it ensures that they don't miss anything in the background check. The Power Ready is for our field training when we have new dispatchers and dispatchers or patrol officers. That's a computerized daily observation report, so we're able to track and collate all of the activity that the new dispatcher or the police officer is doing. So at the end of their 12-week training period, we can hit print and it'll give everything that they've been trained on, all the policies they've signed off on, and it's a far more organized way versus how we were doing it with just Word documents and handwriting. Some of the other technology-related improvements we've made, we did upgrade our breathalyzer machine. We went for many years without one in anticipation of this new machine. Of course, as things go, it kept getting pushed back, and it was almost 3 or 4 years that it was pushed back. So we went quite a while without a breath machine. Fortunately, we had neighboring departments, the sheriff's office and Montville, who helped us out with that in the interim. So that's up and running, and we had that implemented. We also upgraded our fingerprint system. Before we used ink and a manual card. We've now computerized that, so we have a machine that we can take electronic fingerprints, and it immediately submits it to the state and NCIC in the federal government. Additionally, we upgraded our P25 radios in dispatch. We upgraded those to the Symphony consoles, and the difference between what we had then and what we have now, prior to, we had radios that went out over the airwaves. With this upgrade, we are actually connected into the core of the radio system. That gives us greater flexibility and greater compatibility with the system that we're using. So that was a big upgrade in our dispatch center. It also gave the dispatchers the ability to use headsets. So their headsets, they can communicate on the radio and to 911 callers at the same time through the same headset. So that really helped them with some of the multitasking challenges that they have. Speaking of 911, we've also completed our PSAP direct call program. In the past, when you would call 911 from your cell phone, you would get connected to the sheriff's office. They would have to determine the nature of the call and the address that the emergency is happening at, and then forward it to the correct PSAP, whether it be Brunswick, Wadsworth, or Medina. They would forward that call. Our dispatchers would then answer it, say what's going on, have to get the nature of the call, and then the address again. Understandably so, that would frustrate our residents that they're having to repeat this information twice. Sure. So several years ago, we began a project to get those calls routed directly to our dispatch center through 911. So on Verizon and AT&T now, if you dial 911 within the city, it goes directly to our dispatchers. There is no delay, there's no interruption. T-Mobile, we're still working on that, but that should be coming online anytime soon as well. We deployed a camera system on the square, so all four corners of the square have a camera system that we're able to monitor for our special events, or even after the fact. If something happens, we've already used it on many instances to determine who's at fault with a lot of these pedestrian crashes we've been having, any other crashes that we've had that occur on the square. These cameras have a really good chance of capturing that. So that's a capability that we've never had in the past, that I've been asking for and pushing for quite a while. We had some logistical issues when it comes to bandwidth and actually getting the signal back to dispatch. So we're using a cellular connection right now, with the hope that in the future all those traffic signals in the square get a fiber connection, and we're able to kind of jump on that fiber connect.
Can I ask one question with that?
Yes, sir.
Will that capture any of the mid-block pedestrian traffic, those four corner cameras?
Yes, sir, it will.
Good, thank you.
So several of them. So each camera, they're camera bundles. They have 2 stationary static cameras and 1 PTZ. That means pan-tilt zoom. That means we can move it and manipulate it. So the PTZ cameras, we have them zoomed in on the mid-block crosswalks so that we can watch those crosswalks. And they're working out really well. If we ever do go to fiber, I'd like to deploy them up at Court and Reagan, maybe Court and Lafayette, Court and Smith, some of our busier intersections where we have issues with crashes as well. It's great for documentation. In addition to the technological upgrades that we've had over the past year and this year, we are continuing to invest in our training. We continue to comply with the mandatory CPT training. That's continued professional training as required by OPATA. And that's in addition to the normal training that the officers take throughout the year as well. Oftentimes traveling to Columbus or throughout the state to go to those training seminars. We also continue our active shooter training every single year. We select either a school or a business where we're able to train our officers in active shooter training. It's really good training, and we invite our neighboring departments as well, Medina Township and Montville Township, to come and train with us, because they would likely be our first backup that comes to assist us with any type of active shooter training. It's very well received. Everybody enjoys the training, and it's very thorough training, and it's effective. Also, we have 2 officers currently that are enrolled in advanced leadership training. Sergeant Ori is down in Columbus at Public Safety Leadership Academy. That's an academy that's sponsored by the Ohio State University for advanced leadership in conjunction with the Ohio Department of Public Safety. And Sergeant Wilson is enrolled in the PELC. That is it's the Public Safety Leadership Academy. It's not the same as what Sergeant Ori is in. This is sponsored by the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police. It's a leadership college essentially, but it's spread out over 14 months, and he'll go down for weekends each month, 1 weekend a month. In addition to that, when we come back to equipment, one of the big projects that we have coming up this year that we're currently involved in is we have a committee who's evaluating new service firearms. So we're in the process of trying to transition to a 9mm. It's better for folks with smaller hands. Some of our female officers found our current .40 caliber has a lot of recoil, and it's difficult for them to handle. So we would like to transition into the 9mm and also employ the red dot optic that will help with officers with accuracy and the ability to stay on a target, which of course we want our officers to be accurate, and we want our officers to be proficient with their firearms. So we've got it narrowed down to 2 platforms, and hopefully we'll be able to make a decision and present that request for purchase to council sometime this year. That's all I have. Happy to answer any questions that you guys would have.
Chief, that was very well presented. We appreciate that. I'm sure when we get to the budget process starting this week, we'll start looking at being able to observe what the costs were for some of these programs and the ones that you're planning in the future. So thank you very much. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have one question, Chief. When you said the 911 calls did I hear it correctly that if you have Verizon, AT&T or something, you dial 911, it goes straight to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what if I'm in Pennsylvania and I'm using my Verizon phone? Will it come here, or is it'll go to the location?
Yeah, how it's routed is based on the towers. So what we had to do is when we embarked on this project, we had to look at every single cellular tower in the county and decide, okay, this tower on these two sides are pointing towards the city, so those likely will be city callers, and we have to route just these two sides of that antenna to Medina PD, and maybe the other side of the antenna is the sheriff's office because it's pointing out towards their jurisdiction. So if you're in Pennsylvania, you're hitting a Pennsylvania tower, it's going to route you however Pennsylvania routes their 911 calls, whether it be to a county-wide dispatch system or similar to how we are here, it might go to that local police department.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks. Nino, you want to go next?
We're not as exciting as police and fire. We're trash, but however, the public does love the service that is provided by the sanitation
they do.
department. We all know that. As I spoke in the past, we've had our challenges. In the past, it's been with respect to laborers, but with the help of council, we added 2 more MEOs, and with our CDL program, we have 2 young men that are enrolled in the city's CDL program, where they come in, they get they obtain a endorsement of temporary, and then we'll put them through our program for $400, reimburse that. If that same student were to go to private, it's $5,000 just a Class B. So it's a huge savings for the employee, and it's beneficial for the city because it gives us additional drivers. So we've overcome that challenge. Our bigger challenge that we've been faced as of recent is with respect to the vehicles, keeping them operational. You'll hear we have a budget hearing on Wednesday with vehicle maintenance and with sanitation. It just seems like these hoppers, the cabin chassis are good. The hoppers and the mechanisms with the blades in the back are not lasting more than 8 years, and there's some expensive replacements and repairs. So we're kind of worked through that. John's looking at a smaller truck, maybe a 20-yarder, a 13-yarder. We started out with 32-yarders, and then we went to 25. Now they're making single axle. So we're vetting that kind of opportunity going forward. We were at $16 a month. We went to $18 because of the operations and the cost of everything going up. And in July, we're due to go to $20 with respect to the monthly charge. Going forward, the big ticket items is CPF, as we all know. I am happy to report that we're at $55 per ton. That has not gone up. It was slated to go up to $58 and be capped at by 2028. So it is not. We have not incurred an increase. It's interesting. John Leneker, our superintendent, is on a TAC committee, a technical advisory committee, right now serving with the county, and they're talking about the designation of flow control. Flow control is where the organic material must go to the CPF as it was built in 1993, 1994. So the discussion is whether to keep flow control or to remove flow control and have a designation go wherever. That's interesting because on the table, and maybe I shouldn't speak to it, but they were talking about they being the county was selling the 52 acres and the CPF, just selling it outright on a bid, which I thought was very interesting. I'm not sure if that's still in discussion, but I don't know where that would go. If it went to a private contractor, there would be no ceiling with respect to the CPF fees, unfortunately. Over the course of 2024, we had approximately 7,570 customers. That was residential customers with curbside pickup. There were 1,114 commercial dwelling units that utilized the curbside pickup. The sanitation department does currently have 452 front-load dumpsters and 349 commercial accounts. It's amazing. Our trash from 23 total tonnages to 24 was respectively right on pace. It was 26,000 ton in 2023, and in 2024, it was close to, the total was 25,067 tons. And that's split pretty much 50/50 between residential and commercial. Again, our fee is still $55 per ton. Our yard waste program is going really well. And these numbers I can't believe. The fellows picked up 315 tons of yard waste in 2023. In 2024, they picked up 318 tons. It was like 2 tons more. I mean, to be spot on, it just seems like that's amazing to have those numbers to be that close. With the diversion of industrial food waste, there were some struggles. Again, what was diverted was about 989 tons, and that went to the anaerobic digester in the Liverpool area that the county has, and they had some challenges there. So our guys, again, doing the best they can, coming up with alternative areas to take the material. They came up with earthwood composting facility in Canton. So we're going to continue the curbside pickup with respect to yard waste. That goes from mid-April to mid-November, and the public really seems to like it. We do not charge the public, as you know, for that service, and it diverts the heavy waste from going to landfill. We're going to continue that effort, and those are the kinds of things that we do that we control, that we can control. And as long as we can afford to do that, we will do that and provide that service for the public. We are going to talk a little bit on Wednesday with the budget about direction. I know that we get some calls, but not a whole lot about recycling, but the whole recycling, the whole plastic recycling faction is not there. It's just still missing. It needs to get squared away, and until that gets ironed out and there's a end commerce for the material, I don't think that we would go down that road. But we do talk about it. We have to at least have a discussion about recycling. Cardboard, we recycle. We pick up about 300 tons a year on a recycling route specifically for cardboard. Because we know it's clean, it's in specific dumpsters, and that's what would have to happen with paper. You have to have clean, white, dry paper that's not been in the elements. We did contract with River Valley, and then they had some setbacks. River Valley's in Summit County. They bring out a 10-yard container. We wanted to place it at one of the fire stations or at maybe Muni Court parking lot where there's some cameras. We are worried about some contamination because unfortunately the public does what the public does sometimes, and it's not the majority of the folks. You get several that may come and dump materials that shouldn't be in there, and that taints the entire load then after that. So we're continuing the effort, and that's where we're at for 2025. So we should have some more information with respect to the CPF and where that dialogue goes. I don't know that we'll go down the road of one-armed bandits. I've had some conversations with Keith and then with Mr. Coyne. Not sure if the public's ready for that yet because we have unlimited, as you know, and the public, they really do. They love our service, and the trash that lines up on the tree lawns week after week is phenomenal, and it's just a lot. I don't know that we're ready for that, but we know the numbers to get involved in something like that. But I don't think we're ready for that endeavor at this point. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Piccoli. Appreciate that. Chief Walters, you're up.
Thank you. So as everyone knows, we began our 24-hour staffing trial at the beginning of February. That's still very much on our radar. We have to watch that very closely right now to ensure its success if we're going to have it. So just wanted to give you an update on that, where we are with it and what that looks like for this year. So far it's been very successful. We have created a new scheduling system to support that trial, that 24-hour staffing model. The existing scheduling system that we used would not work for this overnight staffing, to add the overnight staffing in. So we created a new system, and that, the primary, we're still using the same software, so it didn't cost us any money, we just had to change how we were using it. And that has been very effective on the firefighters and the fire officers. Most notably, the benefit there is that they are able to choose their own shifts. And so it makes it much easier for them. But in addition, what that does for us is helps give them more opportunities to fill those spots for us. So essentially, it gives them more flexibility and encourages them or makes it more likely that they will choose a shift. So keep in mind, we're trying to staff 3 firefighters minimum, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and we're doing that with part-time employees, part-time firefighters. So that is quite a challenge. Right. So making it so that they have their pick, the idea there is that it will be more likely that they'll work more shifts for us. So far that has been very successful on the scheduling. It still is. We are scheduled out through May with no issues just yet. One of the other benefits of that new system is that it has freed up approximately 3 full work days for Assistant Chief Mark Crumley. So he, as most everyone knows, he is our full-time fire marshal in the city's extremely busy, and he used to spend upwards of 4.5 days each month creating the schedule for our employees. So huge benefit there. So far, very good. We just started at the beginning of February, but we've already had 2 structure fires, major fires, during that midnight to 8 a.m. Time frame that we're filling now. One of them was in Medina Township, and the other one was in the city. The one in the city was the West Liberty fire that was just a week ago Sunday, which, as you likely know, displaced several tenants. It was a tragic fire. We did have a civilian casualty, and 2 near misses for our firefighters at that event, and for some of our police officers as well. So if there is some good news to report from that incident, both of those fires, the response time was under 10 minutes, and the West Liberty fire, the response time was 8 minutes. And just to put that into perspective, prior to the 24-hour staffing model, that number would have been somewhere between 16 and 20 minutes. Right. So that would have been pretty difficult to swallow given that specific fire. So so certainly we're on the right track here, we feel, but in order to support that model and give it every chance to succeed, we have to remember that we're heading into the summer months. Again, using part-time firefighters that all mostly have families, children, vacations, T-ball, that sort of thing. So we've never done this before, and as you know, we did a research study looking for other departments as one aspect of that study to try to learn, but there are really no good examples. So right. We're kind of going into this blind, but as we move into summer, we anticipate the need for, that we're going to run a little, it's not going to be so easy to fill the schedule. Sure. So we're looking to hire 2 to 4, 5 at the most right now, additional firefighters. Again, we don't really know how many we're going to need. It is a bit of a guess, but we want to make sure that we're able to continue to fill that schedule without over diluting the pool. If the part-time firefighters that we have right now that are benefiting financially from working for us can no longer get the additional shifts, you see where I'm going with this. It can work. So it's going to be a little bit of a balancing act through the summer here, but I think we're going to be okay. Everyone is still very positive about it, and so we did start looking for the next round of new part-time firefighters. So we tested just last Wednesday 27 applicants. We had 27 applicants, we had 25 tests, 21 of those passed, and we'll move on to the panel interviews. And that is where we are at for the staffing right now, if anybody had any questions about that. I'll wrap this up with just a couple other updates real quick.
Sure.
So the other big thing for this year is we are out of turnout gear, our protective clothing that, so these 2 to 4 people that we hire, we're likely not going to have appropriate protective equipment to put them in. And so we're also, not only do they need it, but our existing firefighters are wearing out-of-date gear. So it's very expensive though, $4,000 to $5,000 a set per person, per firefighter. So looking to purchase that, that's gonna be a bit of a process. We've assembled a panel, a committee to evaluate the different turnout gear manufacturers. They are currently working on evaluation criteria and will move on to meeting with several different manufacturers throughout the year. And then at some point, they will move into wear trials and ultimately develop a specification that we can use. And I'll bring that back to Finance and Council as we move along the merit course. And then lastly, as you might remember, the cancer screenings that we did last year were a big success. We had 100% participation with that, and we plan to repeat that again this fall. Again, using the remaining Park Foundation money that we used last year to do that. And that ends my report.
Well, Chief, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Again, everything that you've mentioned, except for the cancer screening, which is funded, has been real challenging for you, and we appreciate everything that you and your staff is doing, and we're so grateful, excuse me, that you are at the 24-hour shift staffing right now, and it obviously is, in that short period of time, has made a difference in those midnight hours. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you, Nino. Thank you, Chief Kenny. And with that, anybody else have any questions before I conclude anybody in the audience have any questions? If not, this meeting is adjourned.